It's your boy Patrick Dominick, and I'm up here building with ULSTN Media.
Yeah. It takes time to heal. Every day you make a deal. That pain is what it is, but you know how to win. I love the way you talk. It's like you never lost. They don't know what it costs. You coming for it all.
All right. This is ULSTN Media's Build Series podcast platform specifically for independent artists and creators. I got a very, very talented brother in the studio with me today, just rising star, Patrick Dominick, man. Patrick, man, how you feeling?
I'm feeling great, man. Appreciate you having me.
Appreciate you for sliding through, man. How life been treating you?
Oh, man. Hey, life is life. So you got some ups and downs and everything like that. But, yeah, I'm just really just trying to stay focused and, you know what I'm saying, just keep it going for real.
Man, that's what's up. Since it's your first time, with us on the Build Series, man, one of the things that I like to do is kind of start with the artist's, origin story and then kind of work our way up to the present. So my first question to you would be, how would you describe your childhood?
I mean, we're from St. Louis, man, so, we definitely have our challenges and stuff like that. I wouldn't say that I grew up, in the hood or nothing like that, though, for real. I know a lot of people, they kind of got that, I grew up in the gutter, I grew up in the hood, and, I grew up in, I guess you would say, the Dalewood area, Ferguson area, stuff like that, so.
You don't consider that the hood?
I mean, I think it's levels to it. You know what I'm saying? Okay. You got the west side, the north side. I still grew up in North County. If you want to say that's the ghetto part of the county, you know what I'm saying, I'm cool with that.
I mean, it's your take.
Yeah. So
it's just a lot of people who may not be from St. Louis, man. Mm-hmm. Dalewood is one of those places that a lot of people do refer to as good.
Yeah, for sure.
So if you feel differently, that's.
I mean, like I said, I'm kind of in the middle with it. I definitely understand that and see that, but I also know some people that they definitely what I'm saying, and dealt with some different stuff than I have, or at least seen some different stuff than I have. So, yeah, I'm kind of in the middle where the county and the city meet. So cool with that. Yeah. But yeah, as far as my childhood, man, like I said, I had life is ups and downs. Like my mom and my dad, they got divorced when I was probably, I'm gonna say 2-3 years old. So it was my mom, me, my little sister for a little bit. My stepfather came in actually kind of early, so I'll probably say he came in the picture probably around maybe 4 or 5 actually. So they got married I think when I was about 5 or 6. Mm-hmm. So I kind of had a father figure in there, kind of didn't. With my dad, he moved to North Carolina when I was a kid. My stepdad, he was more of a all right, I'm gonna show you an example of working. So what I'm saying, worked 2 jobs for as long as I can remember. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So he was the person that was sacrificing, putting food on the table, different stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Went through a situation where they even had a split up at a time. And, so I ain't been through times where I know what it's like, to be lucky to have a electric stove because the gas getting cut off and you got to boil water to take a bath type stuff. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Lights cut off, so we, dealt with some, our fair share of struggles, even eviction at one point. Mm-hmm. So, I'm definitely grateful for anything that I have.
Definitely can feel that, man.
For
definitely
sure.
Can feel that. What was some of your musical influences growing up?
Man, so when I was actually a kid, I say a baby, man, my mom actually put me in little baby pageants. So I was probably around 2-3 years old then. That's when I learned how to sing then. So I was singing.
Did you say baby pageants?
Yeah.
I don't know what that is.
So basically, you enter your kid. They got they dress up, different stuff like that, and you kind of put them on display, and they actually get like prizes or whatever. So I end up taking home, I guess, first place from singing Lion King or something like that.
Oh, so it's I don't know, a pageant for small kids.
Yeah. I don't know if they still do them, but back in the day, they used to do them. Like, I still got pictures. I think I dressed up. I don't know what I had on, man. I might have had like some, Bob the Builder type looking stuff on. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. And that was before Bob the Builder even came out. Yeah. So yeah, I dressed up a little bit. I think I even had like a little suit at one point. So yeah, she sent to me in a little stuff to kind of, trying to see, what I'd be interested in, even as a child, like a baby. So yeah, so she taught me how to sing. I grew up in church and stuff like that too. So I'm, it's even in my music. I'm heavily spiritual. Put everything like that in my music. So got faith. For sure. And yeah, so basically, my mom on her side, she introduced me to the gospel realm. You know what I'm saying? So CC Winans, Yolanda Adams, Kirk Franklin. You know what I'm saying? Like the people that do that. And my dad, he more so, hey, when you ride with me, you know what I'm saying, we going to listen to Biggie, Tupac, different stuff like that. So I had, best of both worlds of music, I say.
That's what's up. So your mom was the more so just really wanted you to have that foundation of Christianity.
Oh, yeah.
And your dad, he was probably with it, but just not as heavy as your mom's.
Yeah, I'm gonna say, my dad listened to anything. My mom was very strict when it came to Christianity. Like, we couldn't even play like secular music in the house. So if I did hear it, it'd be like if I'm over a family member house or a friend or something like that. So like, yeah, she used to be strict on that. We couldn't listen to none of that stuff. So
that's what's up. So when she put you in the pageant or whatever, that's where you got the chance to show off some of your talents.
Yeah, man. I wasn't a shy baby, so you know what I'm saying. Like, I'm real laid back and stuff now, but as a baby, yeah, I definitely, I didn't mind being the center of attention. When it came to, singing and different stuff like that, I wasn't nervous. At least I don't remember ever being nervous. Like, and that was even, even growing up in church and stuff like that. Like, and like the kid choir and stuff like that, I was one of those in the forefront, you know what I'm saying, singing stuff like that. So my mom taught me to sing from my diaphragm at 5 years old. So, wow. You know what I'm saying? So like, yeah, for me, like singing, it definitely, came pretty early and even translated into high school. Went to Hazelwood East. Well, first went to Riverview, transferred to Hazelwood East, entered, into the choir and different things like that, end up winning Most Valuable Spartan. So yeah, I've been, doing a little music, for a while.
Yeah. So you started off in music singing.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. I didn't start rapping, bro, until I was probably, I might have been maybe 15.
Okay. What made you want to start rapping?
So I used to hang with my cousin, and she introduced me to like Christian hip hop. I didn't even know it was a such thing. You know what I'm saying? So she introduced me to people like Lecrae, you know what I'm saying, who's actually like what most people would consider like the GOAT of Christian hip hop. It's like, you got Jay-Z, he's like the Jay-Z of, a CHH, what they call it. Yeah. So you got him, you got people like Thistle, he from St. Louis. So Jason, like, other people that was, St. Louis was really big in Christian hip hop at that time.
Yeah.
So it's like now, it's kind of where I look back on how I got my influence. Like Lecrae, what they were doing and stuff like that. I'm like, man, like I'm in the gospel, but I always felt like one of those kind of outcasts a little bit, even in church. Like even how, I might dress or, carry myself or whatever it may be. I always felt like I kind of didn't fit there, and I kind of didn't fit necessarily outside of it either. So it's kind of like a middle ground for me.
Yeah. It just made me think about one of the things that I wanted to ask you, just about church and, a lot of Christian artists, you know what I mean, and like the things that they, wear and how their appearances and stuff like that. Yeah. Like, what is your take on that? Because I don't know, it seems like they do get like, I don't know if it's more criticized these days or not, but I know it was a period of time where it was like, you know, you're not representing the Lord the right way. So like what's your take?
Yeah, you kind of referring to like that situation with that pastor's wife and different stuff like that, or you just talking about just Christian?
Just in general, like
general?
from the artists, from Christian artists, and I wasn't even necessarily talking about people that go to church. I'm just talking about just artists. You know what I mean? Because now we're at a point to where, you know, Christian artists, you know, they probably don't look too much different from like a Lil Wayne. You know what I'm saying?
For sure. I think the thing is, man, I think people got to realize everybody got their own story for one, and we all got our own, you know, path and, you know, road to however we, you know, walk this spiritual journey and stuff like that, or just life in general. So for me, man, I don't know. I just think a lot of that kind of comes from a religious idea. Of how people might, if they look at them any type of way, because, you know, in the Bible, it talks about modesty, you know, and different things like that. But at the same time, like, I don't really look at it as, you know, as a problem. Like me, I got a grill. I dress however I dress. Yeah. But I also think that you being yourself, that's something that draws other people in. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? People recognize real. You know, recognize real. So it's like, I'm not gonna try to be, you know, saying something else for somebody else, and I don't think nobody else should either. So I think it's dope, really. That's how you reach other people when you meet them where they at.
Yeah, man. So you said you were raised in the church.
Yeah, for sure.
And you're one of the artists that made a decision that you weren't going to use profanity, you know what I'm saying, in your music. Like, why did you do that?
I'm just a real person, bro. I don't cuss normally. So why would I put it in my music if I don't do it? You know what I'm saying? Anything that I write or anything that I present is literally just who I am and what, you know, I might be going through, even if it's certain stories of something is somebody I know that I can kind of, you know, put into a song or something like that. So I don't try to fabricate nothing, bro. So there's really no point in me, you know, trying to, you know, I'm gonna do some cussing in my music, but then, you know, in real life, I don't really do that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm just a real person, bro. It's just simple as that for me.
I can feel that, man.
For sure.
So how did you end up recording your first song?
My first song, man. It's crazy. I was actually in this group back in the day, man. We was called the Job Boys. Like, it's funny now we think about it. Yeah, we was called the Jesus Obsessed Boys. We was Christian. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man. It was.
Wait, you was like teenager or?
Yeah,
like...
we was teenagers. Yeah.
Okay.
So we had a youth leader in my church. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Tim McCoy. He actually had a studio in his house. So, you know what I'm saying? He was like, all right, you know, y'all actually want to do some music? All right. So come record in my crib. Like, that was my first time actually even knowing what a bar was. I didn't even know how to write a song or structure it. I was just writing stuff and rhyming with it, and it was like, all right, I don't know how it's going to fit in the song as far as the time stamp or nothing, but he even taught me that. So I kind of learned a little bit of, you know, certain, you know, studio, you know, lingo, like a stab, a stack. You know what I'm saying? Just different stuff like that, or what you do, you know, as far as a track when you're recording it.
Yeah.
So yeah, we recorded our first song, and we had like a youth service, and then nobody even know we was rapping. We just came out as a surprise, and that's kind of where it started. Okay. Like, both of them don't really rap no more though, but Devo 314, he actually on one of the songs we did probably like 3 years ago. Wouldn't Be Here, that did pretty well.
Yeah, man. That's a dope track, man.
I appreciate that.
So your first time recording the song, you was rapping, you wasn't singing.
So I did a little bit of both. One of my homeboys, he wrote the hook, and they ended up having me sing the hook, and I had a verse too. So it was just like, all right, we can just kind of incorporate both since that's what you do. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I did both. Rap for the first time on the track, and really sung for the first time on the actual track. So
that's what's up. So you and your group, how long was y'all, you know, rocking with each other?
It wasn't too long. I mean, and some of it, like, you know, these are like childhood friends too. So, you know what I'm saying, I still, you know what I'm saying, I talk to them till, you know, to this day. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it wasn't too long, man. We had a couple of performances over the time. I say about maybe like a year and a half, maybe 2 years, if that. So yeah, it wasn't too long.
So when did you thought to yourself, like, I want to put out my own personal project?
I still had a passion for it. And I always been told, you know what I'm saying, like, as far as me doing music, you know, I'm gifted in it. So it's just something that I felt like was a part of my purpose. You know what I mean? So for me, yeah, I just kind of, when they kind of went their own way doing whatever they was doing, I'm like, man, I still want to do this. So I'm like, all right, let's see, you know, what I can do by myself as an artist. I, you know, kind of gotten a little bit more comfortable on the stage being with other people. But it's like, all right, let's see how I am, you know, by myself. So when I actually did my first project, shout out to another dude, STLian. He actually do Christian hip hop and stuff like that too, here in St. Louis. So I recorded with him, you know what I'm saying, and it was it went from there. Like, start recording with him, then it branched off to Reese, you know, Reese Beats, from St. Louis, you know, very known. And that's kind of where it went. It just kind of kept growing and evolving and different stuff like that. Meeting different people. Okay.
Like listening to your music, it's like a seamless transition between hip hop and R&B.
Hey, that's dope.
Like you, it's just kind of like a song. Cause I'm like, do this dude rap? But then not like I'm listening to your latest album and it's like straight R&B.
Yeah.
And so like in that album, Awake album, like how did that album come about?
So Awake was what I would say my first, you know, I guess official album for me to actually work on. So it was just kind of one of those where I'm like, okay, like, anytime I write an album, it's more so based on what I'm feeling or what I feel like, you know, I'm going through right now, or what God even might be saying to me at the moment. So in that time, it was just like, all right, this is kind of a debut for who I am. You know what I mean? So me being Awake is just kind of showing people like, you know, I'm here and this is what, you know, I feel like the world, you know, might need to hear, or, you know, even my peers or whatever it might be. So that's pretty much how that album came about for me.
Okay, then. And I feel like it was a lot of Kendrick Lamar influence.
Oh yeah. You know what's crazy? What's crazy? I never before that album I never listened to a Kendrick album.
Really?
Never did. But I will probably hear certain songs and probably, you know, take some influence from that. You know what I mean? But I never listened to a Kendrick album before that album. Wow. But I know it's definitely influence. It's definitely influence for sure.
It sounds like you listen to like a lot of him.
I do now. Like he's my favorite rapper now. You know what I'm saying? But before then, it was like I listen to certain songs of him or whatever, and I'm like, okay, that's dope. I like his creativity from what I heard. But at that time, man, I was just kind of listening to a bunch of different stuff, and you know. At that time, you finding beats and stuff like that. So it's like, okay, I could probably fit on this, and I got an idea for it, and that's just kind of how it went from there.
Okay, man, that's tough, man. Do you consider yourself a Christian rapper?
I mean, I feel like for me, I do, but I also feel like if somebody wasn't to consider me that, I wouldn't mind it. I'm kind of one of those where I do positive and clean music. So if you was to consider me a Christian rapper, that's fine. If you don't, you know, it's fine. My faith is gonna be in it regardless. Yeah.
Okay then, man. So what is it like, you know, being married and having kids and still, you know, trying to put out music, man? You know what I'm saying?
I mean, it definitely has its challenges. You know, I have a great support system though. You know what I'm saying? My wife, she definitely has been somebody that just allows me to kind of be in my creative space. She understands what it means for me and stuff like that. And me just now having a daughter is, you know, it's a new transition for me. So I haven't really tapped into how difficult it can be just yet. She's not even 1 year old yet. But I do feel like I can have my challenges as far as trying to have a space to create maybe. But at the same time, it just kind of gives you more of an idea to like, hey, I need to lock in more because, you know, you can't waste really any time at this point. Yeah. So that's how I look at it.
Like your last album, man, like I said, Fresh Air.
Yeah.
It's almost like a straight, like R&B
Yeah.
album, man. Why
For
did
sure.
you want it to be like that?
As far as the sound, honestly, man, I think that it was always something that I wanted to try. Because when I first came into it, I was always rapping and stuff like that. So it was like, okay, like let's see what I can do with an R&B sound. And I always wanted to make an R&B, type of album. And I wouldn't even necessarily consider that I guess like a Christian type of album necessarily. It has, my faith in it for sure, but it's more so I would call it just like a real life album. You know what I'm saying? Like it's kind of what I do. I do real life music. So it got some stuff that, some Christians might be able to relate to. It got some stuff that if you're going through a relationship or depression or, whatever it just might be. And, yeah, man, I just wanted to challenge myself and do something like that.
Yeah, like that track, All of Me.
Yeah.
How did you, end up doing a song like that, man?
I get heavily influenced with music that I kind of grew up listening to in that era, like 90s, early 2000s feel. So I definitely wanted something to, kind of mimic that sound a little bit. I think that was honestly the peak of R&B, for me in my era, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I know everybody got you got the 80s and the 90s for sure. I grew up in the 90s, but my era was the, early to mid 2000s of really, hearing R&B, which I personally think actually is better than the 90s. That's always a debate, for people.
I mean, I think it depends. It depends on the individual, honestly.
Yeah, for
man.
sure.
There's so much great music that was made in the 90s.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Early 2000s.
Yeah, I think the 90s had the R&B groups down packed.
Yeah.
Like they came with a lot of that stuff, and honestly the 2000s kind of, took from the 90s sound, but I think it evolved. I think instruments, the way they were, used in beats and everything got better, production was better. And I just think some of the songs that, people don't even probably think about it, like Joe Wanna Know, that song, it came out in, I think, 2000, if I'm not mistaken, so after that 99 time. And, other songs that people might have thought came in the 90s actually were in the early 2000s.
Yeah. I mean, but that song definitely remind me of that 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah, for sure, man. That was the whole purpose of it.
Okay.
Yeah, and it was just me talking about like, like me, like basically giving my all to God. It sounds like a love song, really. What I'm saying, like somebody trying to get their woman back. And that was kind of done on purpose too. You know what I mean? So just to kind of give you an idea of what it'd be like. Hey, you messing up and stuff like that. But it's like, man, I don't even know how I can bring this to you. And that sometimes I think that's like we kind of dehumanize who we are when it comes to God. Like we human, and God, you could talk to God like you talking to your homeboy or even your girl or something like that. Like, hey, this is going on with me. I need you. I ain't messed up. So I just kind of wanted to make it relatable in that way.
I got you. You had another track on there, Get Away, man.
Yeah.
How did that song come about?
It's crazy, man. That's a really old song. I wrote that years and years ago. I actually wasn't even. I think it barely made the project because it was something
really?
Because it was so
it's
old.
One of my favorite joints.
And it's a lot of people. It's a lot of people. Saying favorite songs. So it's like, man, it's crazy. So that means it definitely served the purpose on being there. But yeah, Get Away, man, is really just kind of like I said, you having that communication with God where it's like, man, I'm going through all this type of stuff and I just want to really just get away from it all with you, be in your presence and stuff like that. So it's like when I'm with you, like I don't even really think about all this going on. So that's really kind of what it's talking about.
I got you, man. And seen it all, man.
my favorite song on the project, man.
Yeah. It's hard not to feel that song, man.
Nah, I appreciate it, bro. Yeah, I think it's definitely one of my best written songs on the project. And that's just kind of, I was actually going through writing that song during that time. So it was kind of one of those where I was battling depression and stuff like that. I was battling, my own personal issues. And it's like, man, like, I can't really be too high or too low on certain situations, because if you get, too high, you kind of forget that something bad could happen, and you get too low, it's like, man, you kind of forget about the things you should be appreciative of. So
yeah,
it was one of those, man, where it was just like, man, I ain't seen it all. I ain't seen all these different, things. I ain't been to these different places in my life, and it's like, what I'm saying, why trip off of it? You know what I'm saying, in that type of way. So that's just how I look at it.
Man, that's a lot of growth, bro.
For sure.
But it's so wild because some of your singing and even with your rapping, man, I feel like man, if you had thrown like a couple curse words in there, man, you'd probably be like on fire or something. I don't know.
No, hey, it's funny, man. People be telling me that sometimes too. And you got some people that listen to it and they realize, like, hold on, bro, didn't even cuss.
Yeah.
Like, so it's surprising to some people too, man.
Like if you threw like a B word in the hook somewhere,
I already know, bro. Hey, I get you, man. So,
but it's on you not touching.
No, because I don't do it in my natural life, man. So for me, I make music where, I really just glorify God in my music, man. I'm one of those people, man, like, if I make it to that certain level of success that I will want to, of course, we all artists, we want to make it to a certain level, but I don't really think I trip off that more so than really getting the message across and, like, reaching people. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So, like, for me, even if something don't reach me that I wrote, like, I won't even put it out. So that's just how I write.
Like, since you, like, very much Christian and, talk about God a lot and being in church. Yeah. Like, have you heard of this thing called church hurt?
Yeah, for sure.
Like, what is your take on it? And, like, for people who don't know, kind of, like, break it down for them.
I mean, I got two different takes on it. So I see it both ways. Church hurt is basically you in church and you look at them or people as people that are, people supposed to be people of God, and then you get to the point where, they might disappoint you in certain ways, or they might let you down in certain ways. Mm-hmm. I've went through church hurt, or what I would consider church hurt before, but I don't know, for me personally, I think I look at people more so as us just being human. We ain't perfect. Yeah. So I think sometimes when people look at somebody as, oh, that's a man of God, different stuff like that, like, I'm no different than anybody else that's not even in church, to be honest. That's how God look at us. Uh-huh. So God look at us really as filthy rags. You look at the Bible, that's how he look at us. The only thing that he sees is the blood that covers us, which is something that he shed. Mm-hmm. So for us, like, I can't look at this person that had these super high expectations, because you're going to always fall short. People are always going to let you down. You know what I'm saying? The only person that's perfect is God. Yeah. So that's really how I look at it, because I look at it like, if you go to, you work or whatever. So I think people look at church, they don't look at it as something that's necessarily essential, right? Uh-huh. But your job is, you get mad at your boss probably a lot, you know what I'm saying? But you ain't gonna stop going to work because it's something that you feel like you need. Yeah. So I think that's kind of the thing, people mindset on church. They probably don't look at it necessarily as they need it, or if you feel like that church ain't serving you, you know what I'm saying, you can go somewhere else. So that's just how I look at it.
Yeah, like I've heard that like some people, they'll, go to church or be like, just real enthusiastic about it. Mm-hmm. They have a traumatic experience and they're like, they don't deal with church or God and none of that stuff no more. Yeah. So like, to people who do be on it, have those type of experiences, negative experiences with the church, man, like, what's something that you would say to them, man, to try to, I guess, encourage them or whatever?
Man, my encouragement, man, is, I feel like the purpose of going to church, it is community and stuff like that. But I also would say, man, like, talk to God and have him lead you on where you should go. And also just have a mindset of, I'm getting something from God and not from man. You know what I mean? And it's not to take anything away from, the hurt that the person might be dealing with, or even the person that did hurt them. Because I'm one of those people, like, even for me as a Christian, I'm very hard on myself, or, a way that I got to, like, make sure I'm setting the right example and stuff like that if I'm going to be talking about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because a lot of times you get to churches and they one way in church and outside of, you know what I'm saying, so it's one of those things, man. I don't agree with none of that either. And like I said, we ain't perfect, but at the same time, we also can't use that as an excuse just to do whatever we feel like doing, but still trying to preach to people too.
Yeah, man.
You know,
man, it's a crazy time for just, even having conversations around God.
For sure. Yeah, for sure.
These days, and like you emphasize it so much in your music. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, like how do you feel about some of the things that you see socially about, people, like you mentioned before, the one pastor, his wife wearing a particular thing, and then, who was the brother who told the congregation to lock the doors?
Oh, Marvin Sapp. Yeah. So that's an interesting take too, because my take on that, for somebody that grew up in church, right? I think it was actually misunderstood on how it was brought out, right? So when he was like basically lock the doors and stuff like that, didn't want nobody walking. Typically in church, in those situations, like giving an offering is looked at as a sacred thing. It's basically a form of a worship in a way. So it's like, okay, we giving God, whatever it is. So basically he asked for whatever the amount was from the congregation. But he also, I think people kind of forget, he asked all the preachers to give an even higher amount. He started off himself. Like, let's say he was like, I want everybody to give, let's say $50 or $100, something like that, if you can. But y'all got to give $1,000, including myself. So I think that in that time, he like, I don't want nobody walking. It's just so, whatever he feel like God is going to do in that moment, he don't want people to, be distracted or talking or anything like that. That's just kind of a common thing, I think, in church. And I think a lot of people, might have not understood that based on how it was presented. And maybe he could have presented it a different way. I don't know. You know what I mean?
So like that's kind of part of, I guess, church etiquette is not to be moving. During certain stuff. It's almost like if you ever been to a place and they praying or something like that, and they tell you take your hat off. It's almost something like that. You know what I mean? So it's pretty common. At least from when I grew up, like churches I grew up in. Like, so with some of the social things that go on, especially like I mentioned that, the Drewski skit or whatever.
Oh, yeah. That was hilarious. And I want other people, dog, you got some people that was bent out of shape about it. I'm like, dog, that's hilarious to me, dog. That stuff was funny, bro.
Okay.
Nah, it's hilarious. Because that's really how churches be now, man. A lot of it really do be gimmicks and, you know what I'm saying, to raise money. Because I do look at churches kind of like a business, too. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think people don't really talk about that aspect of it. And I think, unfortunately, it's become so much of a business that it kind of like, I think people get distracted for what it's supposed to be for. Then you got all the theatrics, like what's the point of dude hanging from the ceiling, bro? like come on, man. And the dude really did that. Like, he got these skits from real life situations. Like, that's crazy.
So even you think a lot of this stuff is just way too embellished.
Yeah, it's too much, bro. Like, man, you ain't got to do all of that, man. You got pastors, you know what I'm saying, like, and not to throw no, shade on no pastor, because like I don't speak on no man of God in no negative way like that. Yeah. But I think some of the stuff just be a little too over the top. Like, one pastor, he, pouring syrup all over the Bible and, doing type of stuff. 'Cause he basically trying to show people like, basically how we kind of treat God's word. He was like, y'all don't care about this for real, different stuff like that. So I get his idea, but I just feel like you don't have to do all of that. Like, you could just talk to people like me and you talking, and they can get a message. You know what I'm saying? That's how I look at it.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, it's getting wild out here for real.
So you been someone who loves to speak about God and stuff.
Yeah.
Seeing all of these things that's happening socially, man, like what do you take from that you kind of put into your music? You know what I mean? Do you think about any of those type of things, like when you creating your music?
Every now and then. For me, like for instance, like Lecrae, my favorite project from him is called Church Clothes.
Okay.
And he kind of talking about that in there. He like, man, you got bishops doing all this different type of stuff. You got the choir members sleeping with other people in the, in the congregation. You got, the bishop or the pastor getting women pregnant. Kind of, that's something that's been going on for years. And he kind of talking about, like, let's say if you was a person from the outside coming in, you like, man, they telling me I can't wear this certain thing, but they doing all this type of stuff. Mm-hmm. So I think he kind of bridged the gap on, hey, I'm gonna get on the church for a lot of the stuff that they doing that they shouldn't be doing. Yeah. And I'm also, like, try to give it from a perspective of somebody that really is trying to, like, work on their relationship with God and stuff like that. Yeah. So for me, I don't mind talking about it. It's just, like I said, it depends on what I'm feeling at the time. Mm-hmm. So yeah, these different social, things, I think I'm more so in a place where I'm kind of trying to meet the people that are kind of on the outside, and it's like, all right, how do I get that relationship with God if I ain't really used to going to church, or if I'm like, if I did go to church and I had church hurt, you know what I mean? So it's just kind of like, I'm really just trying to meet people where they at, right at the moment. They might not be in church right now.
Yeah. That's what's up, bro.
So yeah, that's just where I'm at right now.
The Tom Hill song, how did that come about?
Man, it also came from a place, man, where of my, like I said, me going into like my depression and actually having to really understand that I was even depressed, first of all. Like me actually going to counseling and stuff like that, me, seeking mental health or taking mental health more seriously. I actually started going to therapy and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So it was one of those things where, I didn't even know I was depressed for real until, certain situations happened. And then I actually went into a really deep depression. So me actually going through that process of like dealing with it. Because I think sometimes we, go through trauma and stuff like that, and how we taught in the black, community, hey, what goes on in this house stays in this house, and all, hey, you'll be all right, you know what I mean? Whatever. We kind of shun people that, take, that serious as far as going to therapy. We don't talk about therapy. Yeah. So it's kind of one of those things, man. For me, it was just like, all right, like me taking it a day at a time. Like, what does that look like for me, or what did it look like? Yeah. And sometimes you got to talk to yourself like, hey, I might not be feeling it, but every day it's going to get better. It's not as bad as it may seem. You know what I mean? So me going through different stuff like that.
When you say you didn't even know you was depressed, like, what is that? You know what I mean? Like,
because you go through the motions, man. So like, you might be feeling down, and just you get to the point of you so used to feeling down, it's just you feel like that's just how life is or how I feel. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? You ain't used to like some people, you ever been around a person just always negative? You know what I mean? Honestly, I think they might deal with depression and not even really know it. You know what I mean? Because it's just what they used to. They used to negativity, somebody else, and kind of planted that into they heart of, this is what I'm always used to seeing. Ain't nothing gonna be good based on, somebody might have talking down on them. So trauma is a very tricky thing, because we all go through trauma, and a lot of times we don't realize the impact that it makes on us, when we grow up and stuff like that.
And then kind of like normalizing the behavior.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you said, that person that's always being negative.
Yep.
They think they be.
Yeah. It's just how life is. Like, it's just what it is.
And in that song, you was just kind of like expressing, some of that stuff that you was going through, and just getting over it through time. Yeah,
exactly. How I feel like God gave me a mindset on even how to get over it, and I still deal with it, honestly. Like, I think people look at depression as having an expiration date, and it really don't. Mm-hmm. Like, you can get over something, what I'm saying, but I think throughout life, it's gonna have its up and downs, different triggers and anything like that. So you got to continue to I guess plant positivity, in your daily life. Mm-hmm. So that's really what the song really talking about. Like Tom Hills, like I might, I went through something real traumatic, but then it's like, all right, over time, like, let's just see how stronger I can get. Like, you got to really recognize that you're stronger than what you think you are. So I think that's kind of the big thing I had to learn.
Man, it's not Sunday, but this brother is preaching. He been preaching since he got up in there.
Yeah, oh my.
That boy got the spirit on him.
Man, hey, I just been through stuff, man, and I think like me, in my relationship with God, I just think that I don't know, God got something with me where I can just kind of meet people where they at. Like I'm kind of in the middle. Like I said, I didn't really fit completely in the church like that. You know what I'm saying? It's over time when the church kind of started to evolve, and then like I ain't never been out in the streets. I ain't somebody that sold dope or nothing like that. But I always connected with people like that for some reason. So
like when you say your I guess acceptance into the church kind of developed over time. Like,
yeah.
What was it how you dressed and how you talked and stuff like that?
Yeah, I mean, how I talk, maybe not, because a lot of them, they came from the hood or, St. Louis is St. Louis. But, how I dress for sure. Because, back in the day, man, like, my mom, she used to dress me up in, what we call church clothes with the slacks, the button up, or, a suit. Hey, I got a picture, man. I had a pinstripe suit. You know what I'm saying? I had a couple of them, you know what I'm saying? So I was flyed in. But, when I started, my mom started to allow me to kind of, be more expressive in the way I wanted to dress and different stuff like that. And even going into high school, I was older then anyway. I kind of like started certain trends in church and stuff like that, like me and my homeboys. So it was like, if we dressed a certain way, they was always looking at us like, oh, what they gonna have on today type stuff. But then you got other church members that's like what they got on, you know what I mean? That's not how we, dress. Like that's weird or whatever it is. Like when the skinny jeans era first came, they used to try to feminize it, be like, man, they dressing gay or whatever it might be. Yeah. So it was definitely something where for me I didn't feel necessarily accepted, but like I said, I don't really care too much about like that. It was more so like, hey, this is who I am and this is what I want to do. And that's how you reach people, because evidently we started trends in church. People started to kind of like, lock in and tap in with us. So,
man, that is really interesting, man. So, that's some interesting stuff. I would ask, like, how important do you think it is having a support as an artist from your home city?
It's definitely important. For at least for me. Like, I know a lot of people, they kind of branched out to different cities and blew up there, and then they brought it back, and then, St. Louis kind of jumped on. St. Louis has always kind of been known as like, it's a hating city and, different stuff like that. And I can see that. I've also got a lot of support, from people. Like, I said, I work at Nike, and they've supported me tremendously, like my Nike family. Like, I've even got support from some of the what we would call like the big bosses and stuff like that. They did a blast email to everybody in Nike around the world, and with me in it, you know what I'm saying? It was like, hey, check out his music, stuff like that. So I thought that was like crazy.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I ended up doing like celebrating like, what was it, 50 years of hip hop or whatever it was. And basically, bro, like they allowed me to they had a whole slot for me to just rap at work. Like it was like, all right, you know what I'm saying, for whatever this time slot.
50 years of hip hop.
Yeah, they had it in like the we had like this facility in our job, like the break room or whatever it is, but it's big enough, to fit a lot of people. So it was like, all right, we're going to let them off the line, you know what I'm saying, and allow him to, you know what I'm saying, entertain us in a way. So I ended up getting to do that. And then I had like a concert from this dude named Life Strife. He actually worked there, and a lot of, you know what I'm saying, like Nike family came to support. We had to sell our own tickets and everything at Pops. So yeah, it was pretty dope, man. Like
Nike hold you down like
no,
that.
For sure.
Yeah, you about to go make me go and get some more Nikes, man.
Hey, for sure.
Well, man, we got to work on a Nike sponsorship, man.
Man, yeah. I had people, man, they was like,
Nike,
man, they heard my stuff, dog. They was like, and we was in, and my homegirl Chrissy, we was in like this meeting with this guy, and he's retired now, but he was one of the bigger bosses. He was like over like all the training and stuff like that. So he was just like, man, anybody got some, some hidden talents or passion? She's like, oh, Patrick sing, this and that. So he played my music in there, and after the meeting came to me, he was like, hey man, like I really like love what you're doing, And if you need anything, you know what I'm saying, let me know. So he kind of start putting it out to other people. So then like the other another person that's over the building, she start putting it out. So anytime people would come in from out of town, she introduced me to them. So it's like
you actually are like the perfect artist for a corporation like that. Because you make great music.
Mm-hmm.
You present great. You know what I mean? Like you really look the part. You know what I'm saying? And it's like no cursing, no. It's very, very clean. You know what I'm saying?
I think the most thing that was in there, my homeboy, I did like a little was a little interlude with him, and he was, he said nigga and stuff like that a couple different times, but they don't, people listen to different music all the time.
Because your music's so clean, I caught it.
I
normally wouldn't catch it. But because I'm listening to your music and it's clean, and he saying the N-word and all of that, I was like, man, he actually said the N-word on this project. But I had to remember, you don't necessarily consider yourself like Christian, you know what I'm saying? Like Christian rapper. You know what I mean? You're a Christian.
There's some Christian rappers that use it nowadays.
I'm not really hip on the Christian rap genre. Like I'm not deep into it like that. You know what I mean? But I do feel like when it comes to religion, like it's certain like do's and don'ts. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
And you got to be respectful. You know what I mean?
Like me, I use the N-word in my daily vocabulary for sure. Mm-hmm. But I don't put it in my music only because if it is kind of in that genre, you know what I mean, I do want it to be able to be played, you know what I'm saying, for a different, demographic of people. You got white people to listen to it, you got Latino, you got whatever type of people to listen to.
That's why I say your music is perfect. Like you as an artist are like perfect for a lot of the corporations, especially Nike.
Yeah,
Nike,
for sure.
I can see them totally backing you and supporting you. It's like how they make perfect sense. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
For them to be doing, man. Shoot, man. Before I get you out of here, man. Like I gotta ask you, like, who are some artists that you would like to work with? Independent artists.
Independent, okay.
They don't necessarily have to be, in the St. Louis area, but of course, if they were, that would be dope.
For sure. Independent, man. I'm trying to think who. I mean, because a lot of people say they're independent, but it's kind of like they still got label backing them, different stuff like that. I definitely want to work with Smino. Even just because he's from St. Louis. Yeah. I don't know if you would consider him signed.
That's one of those things I don't know.
Yeah, I even have to look at it and stuff like that.
Yeah.
As far as even in the city, shout out to B. Like she a dope artist. She can definitely, sing and stuff like that. I definitely think our vibes will work. Mm-hmm. You got Chudy, from St. Louis. Maestro Frio, he did a beat for me, but I need that verse, from him.
Yeah.
And like, let me think who else, man. Who I got a show, I'm actually gonna be opening up for him, Nando STL. Nando, 314, Nando, Nando hard.
Nando going crazy right now.
Nando 314, he hard, man.
Nando going crazy right now, man. Like everybody's so happy for him too, man. So it's like it's just a dope feeling, what I mean? Yeah. To be a part of like a lot of this buzz that he's getting now, man, because it's deserved. Yeah, you know what I mean. And like, I'm glad that they put you on the bill. You know what I'm saying?
Man, it's crazy, man. Yeah,
man. Like I know you about to kill it. You know what I'm saying?
I appreciate it, bro.
I know you about to kill it, man. But it's such a great look for 314 Day. For those who don't know, 314 Day is like a holiday in St. Louis. It's a day where we come out and just celebrate St. Louis culture. Yep. You know what I mean? So, bro, Patrick, man, he gonna be in a concert and he about to body this joint, man.
Hey, I appreciate it. I think I might actually be the only Christian artist there. So it's definitely gonna be interesting, man. But I love that type of environment, man, because people.
I don't think they're gonna be able to tell.
Maybe not. Maybe not.
You know,
Yeah.
and unless you do, you know, some of your signature joints, then that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like,
I think they actually put it in like one of the flyers. They was like, man, you know, he represents the Most High in his music, and he ready to bless us on that day. So yeah, they already put it out there anyway. So you know, but I like that though, just because people they don't really know what to expect, or they think they might know what to expect, and then when they hear it, they like, oh, this definitely ain't what I thought it was gonna be as far as Christian music, or you know, somebody talking about God and they stuff. It's turned. So
yeah, man,
I'm definitely ready to, you know, put on the show for sure.
For sure, man. Well, either way, man, Patrick, man, it was a pleasure having you up here, man.
Man, I appreciate you.
Definitely, you know, would like for you to run it back sometime, man.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, man. Let me know, bro.
Definitely. Any exclusive you got, man, we definitely want the exclusives.
For sure.
You got new music, whatever, you know what I mean?
Got a new single dropping through on 4-Day called Big Steppin' as well. So
that's what's up, bro. Anything to sign off, let the people know you got going on other than the single?
Well, yeah, so do got a show, you know what I'm saying, that's coming on 314 Day, so, you know what I'm saying, pop out. Anybody that's, you know what I'm saying, available to do it. Like I said, I'm working on an album as well, too. So I've been telling people, you know what I'm saying, hit me up on social media at Patrick Dominick _ Instagram, and it's on TikTok and stuff like that, too. But, yeah, man, so I'm working on this project called How You Gonna Tell God. And it's basically kind of talking about certain situations where you might not really know what the outcome going to be. You might be in a situation where you don't really know what to do in the situation. Or you might have a feeling of like the situation could be hopeless or whatever it might be. And it's really like, how you going to tell God? Like, yeah, God in control of everything. All things work together. So I need, you know what I'm saying, producers. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking for features. You know what I'm saying? Let's connect.
Dope, man. Well, that's Patrick, man. Again, pleasure having you, man. Until next time, bro.
I appreciate you, bro.
All right.